Well, Shreveport Police Department came by Ms. Bagley's residence the day after, I'm going to say the Sunday after the incident took place. I've been in contact with state police in regards to make sure that there's a thorough investigation, that there is going to be transparency and what we hope to be accountability. For us, accountability looks like justice in both the criminal court system and the civil court system. I think it's too early to say which degree it is, whether this is first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter, negligent homicide. There's not enough information out there. However, what is troubling to us is that what factually has been put out there by Louisiana State Police is that Mr. Bagley, Alonzo, was unarmed when he was shot in the chest. That is a problem. It is a problem for us because we keep on seeing this over and over, not only in our state, but throughout this entire country. And every time that there's a video that comes out, the nation's conscience gets shocked. Every time. However, what doesn't seem to happen is the conscience of law enforcement doesn't change. And how do we know the conscience of law enforcement does not change? Because it keeps on happening. This is 2 weeks removed from the country being mortified by what happened to Brother Nichols in Memphis, Tennessee. And I had a chance to speak with his mother and father when I was in Washington, D.C. with Ronald Green's family, meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus, the head of the State of the Union. And the idea that I had to tell them that in Louisiana, this has happened again 2 weeks after this is mind-blowing. Furthermore, I've been able to find out that the ACLU has successfully sued the Shreveport Police Department just 4 days before this. Just 4 days. And yet, this happened. We need answers. And we need them sooner than later. You have to go off on good faith. Lamar Davis, Superintendent Davis, asked us for patience, not just in this case, but throughout the state, that changes are coming. I can say based on officer-involved shooting that took place in Alexandria, Louisiana, where we represent the family of Derek Kittling, that the way they presented that evidence was much different than I've seen ever before within state police. However, that's just a step in the right direction. You do not get to completely heal the conscience of the citizens of this state based on doing it right one time or another time. You need to do it right all the time. And if state police wants us to trust them, and I say us, the citizens of this state, trust has to come both ways. You have to trust that you can release this information to the public and the public can digest it for what it is. However, the longer that this goes on without coming to light, it makes it very difficult for John Q and JMQ public to accept the fact that nothing else is going on behind the scenes. And that may not be fair, and I want to be very clear. That may not be fair to this administration, that this administration is suffering from the scars of the previous administration. But that's where we are right now. And so I trust the communications that I've had with state police to be truthful. I have no reason to believe that they are lying to me in this situation, but the family needs to be able to see this footage. And listen, for no other reason than this, it is hard enough to bury a loved one, regardless of the circumstances, whether it's an illness, whether it's an accident, or whether it's a killing like in this place. But what makes it harder is that you have a cloud of suspicion hanging over this family going into the week where they're burying their loved one. That there's still questions that they don't know. They know that he was unarmed. But what else happened? Was his hands up? Was his hands down? Was there any interaction between this officer? What is this officer's discipline? You know, what made was supposed to be a nonviolent encounter turn deadly? These are questions that they have. And I think that there needs to be a more level of transparency, at least for the family, prior to them burying their loved one.
I think I only have 2 more questions.
What we're focused on is why an unarmed black man was shot and killed by a Shreveport police officer. One time, center mass in the chest. That is the question, and that is the answer that needs to be. Again, a problem that I have with this, and I spoke to the family about this, is that when it comes to black and brown people, it appears that you have to be the exceptional black person to get basic level of decency when it comes to law enforcement interaction. You don't get to be the jerk. You don't get to somehow be out of the ordinary and expect to not get hurt or killed. And sometimes you can be that exceptional person and it still happens. And so oftentimes when it comes to the taking of Black and brown lives, we try to find a reason to justify that from happening. The question of the day, and we don't need to answer any other questions about what had the police get here, is why did this officer with known police baggage, with a disciplinary record, and this is not an officer who's been on force 20 years and he had one mistake 10 years ago. This is an officer with multiple infractions within the first year and a half of his service. Why did he shoot our unarmed client, taking away a husband, a father, a son, and a brother? Until that question is answered, we're not answering any questions as it pertains to them coming out.